Welcome to month 9 of the Tech Lead track, Technical Debt Strategy. Technical debt is the silent killer of engineering organizations. It slows delivery, frustrates developers, and eventually makes systems unmaintainable. Today you'll learn how to quantify it, prioritize it, communicate it to executives, and build sustainable practices to manage it. Hour 1 covers understanding technical debt, the taxonomy, quadrants, and how to build a debt inventory. Hour 2 focuses on quantifying debt, metrics, cost models, and measurement approaches. Hour 3 tackles prioritization and planning, frameworks for deciding what to fix first, and building a reduction roadmap. And Hour 4 covers communication and sustainability, how to talk to executives about debt and keep debt management practices alive long-term. Hour 4 covers communication and sustainability, how to talk to executives about debt and keep debt management practices alive long-term. By the end of today, you'll be able to categorize and quantify technical debt across systems. You'll create strategic technical debt reduction plans. You'll communicate debt impact to business stakeholders. You'll balance new development with debt reduction. And you'll establish sustainable debt management practices. These skills turn technical debt from a vague complaint into a manageable business risk. Woods-Wardingham coined the term technical debt to describe the cost of choosing an easy solution now instead of a better approach that would take longer. Like financial debt, technical debt accrues interest. The longer you wait to pay it down, the more it costs. But the metaphor goes deeper. Some debt is like a mortgage, deliberate, strategic, and enabling. You take on debt to ship faster, knowing you'll pay it back. Other debt is like credit card debt, accidental, accumulating, and expensive. You didn't realize you were taking it on until the interest payments became painful. As a tech lead, your job is to distinguish between the two and manage both. This 2x2 matrix is the most useful framework for thinking about technical debt. Prudent and deliberate. We know we're taking on debt and we've decided it's worth it. Ship now, fix later. This is strategic. Reckless and deliberate. We don't have time for design. This is gambling with your code base. Prudent and inadvertent. Now we know how we should have done it. This is learning. Every code base has some of this. Reckless and inadvertent. What's layering? This is ignorance. The team doesn't know they're creating debt. The quadrant matters because it determines your response. Strategic debt needs a repayment plan. Accidental debt needs education. Reckless debt needs intervention. Technical debt isn't just code. It lives in 5 categories. Code debt, tangled logic, duplicated code, missing tests, outdated dependencies. Architecture debt, tightly coupled services, monolithic structures that should be decomposed, technology choices that no longer fit. Infrastructure debt, manual deployments, missing monitoring, outdated environments, no disaster recovery. Documentation debt, missing runbooks, outdated diagrams, no decision records. Test debt, low coverage, flaky tests, missing integration tests, no performance tests. Each category has different costs and different remediation strategies. A debt inventory should cover all 5. You can't manage what you can't see. A debt inventory makes the invisible visible. Step 1. Gather sources. Code analysis tools, developer interviews, incident reports, customer complaints, deployment friction. Step 2. Categorize each item using the 5 categories we just covered. Step 3. Estimate impact. How much does this debt slow down development? How often does it cause incidents? How much developer time does it consume? Step 4. Estimate effort. How long would it take to fix? What's the risk of fixing it? Step 5. Prioritize. We'll cover specific frameworks in Hour 3. The workshop exercise. Spend 15 minutes listing the top 10 technical debt items in your current project. Categorize them and estimate their impact. You need metrics that matter, not metrics that are easy to collect. 5 dimensions to measure. Coverage. What percentage of your codebase has adequate test coverage? Complexity. How tangled is the code? Cyclomatic complexity, coupling metrics, dependency depth. Freshness. How outdated are your dependencies? When was the last security patch applied? Reliability. How often do incidents trace back to known debt? Velocity. How much of each sprint is spent working around debt versus building new features? Tools can automate some of this. Sonar Cube for code quality, dependency scanners for freshness, incident tagging for reliability. But the most important metric is developer perception. Ask your team, what slows you down the most? Here's a framework for quantifying debt in terms executives understand. Money. Fixed cost. How much time and money will it take to remediate this debt? Include developer time, testing, deployment, and risk of regression. Carry cost. How much does this debt cost per month in slowed development, incidents, and developer frustration? This is the interest payment. Opportunity cost. What can you build because this debt exists? This is the hardest to quantify, but often the most compelling. The formula. Total debt cost equals fixed cost plus carry cost times months until fix plus opportunity cost. If carry cost is high and fixed cost is low, fix it now. If both are high, you have a strategic decision to make. The workshop. Pick one debt item from your inventory and calculate its cost model. Not all debt is equal. You need a framework for deciding what to fix first. A scoring matrix evaluates each debt item across 4 dimensions: impact on velocity, risk of incidents, cost to fix, and number of teams affected. Score each dimension 1 to 5 and sum them up. 3 principles to guide prioritization. First, fix the debt that blocks new features. If a debt item is in the critical path of your next release, it goes to the top. Second, fix the debt that causes incidents. Reliability debt has compounding costs. Third, fix the debt with the best ROI. Low effort, high impact items go first. Avoid the trap of fixing what's easy instead of what's important. The easy wins feel good, but don't move the needle. A roadmap turns prioritized debt into a plan. Quarter 1. Quick wins. Focus on low-effort, high-impact items. Build momentum and demonstrate value. Target 20% of engineering capacity for debt reduction. Quarter 2. Strategic investments. Tackle medium-effort items that unblock future work. Start the items that will take longer to complete. Quarter 3. Systemic fixes. Address architecture and infrastructure debt that requires coordinated effort across teams. Quarter 4. Sustain and reassess. Complete remaining items, measure results, and refresh the inventory for next year. The key insight. Debt reduction is not a one-time project. It's an ongoing practice that needs dedicated capacity every sprint. This is where most tech leads fail. They either don't talk about debt at all, or they talk about it in technical terms that executives don't understand. Do. Frame debt as business risk. Use analogies executives understand: deferred maintenance, technical interest payments, velocity degradation. Show data. Incidents caused by debt, developer time lost, features delayed. Don't use technical jargon. Don't say, our cyclic complexity is too high. Say, our code is so tangled that adding a simple feature takes 3 weeks instead of 3 days. The golden rule. Executives don't care about code quality. They care about speed, reliability, and cost. Frame debt in those terms. When you need executive buy-in for a significant debt reduction initiative, structure it as an investment proposal. Section 1. The problem. Quantify the debt's impact on speed, reliability, and cost. Use concrete numbers. Section 2. The solution. What specifically will you fix? How long will it take? What resources do you need? Section 3. The return. What will improve after the fix? How much faster will development be? How many incidents will be prevented? Section 4. The risk. What happens if we don't fix this? What's the worst-case scenario? This structure speaks the language of business. It turns a technical concern into a business case. The goal isn't to eliminate debt. That's impossible. The goal is to manage it sustainably. 5 practices that keep debt under control. Prevent. Code review, architecture review, and automated quality gates catch debt before it enters the codebase. Detect. Regular scans, developer surveys, and incident analysis surface new debt early. Allocate. Dedicate 15 to 20% of every sprint to debt reduction. Communicate. Make debt visible in sprint reviews and roadmap discussions. Measure. Track debt metrics over time to ensure the trend is improving. The most important practice is allocation. If debt reduction is something you do when there's time, there will never be time. Make it a non-negotiable part of every sprint. This is the eternal tension. The business wants new features. Engineering wants to fix debt. Both are valid. Anti-patterns. Zero debt allocation. We'll fix it later. Later never comes. Debt sprints. One big cleanup every quarter. The debt reaccumulates immediately. Feature freeze for debt. The business won't accept this for long. Effective patterns. Capacity model. 70% new features, 20% debt reduction, 10% innovation. Way Scout rule. Leave the code better than you found it. Debt budgets. Each team gets a quarterly debt budget they must spend. The capacity model works best because it's predictable, sustainable, and doesn't require negotiation every sprint. 5 pitfalls in debt management. First, measuring debt but not acting on it. Metrics without action are just numbers. Second, fixing only the easy stuff. Quick wins are important, but they don't address systemic debt. Third, no executive sponsorship. Without leadership buy-in, debt reduction competes with features and loses. Fourth, treating all debt equally. A security vulnerability is not the same as a missing doc string. Fifth, no feedback loop. You need to measure whether your debt reduction efforts are actually improving velocity and reliability. Your challenge has 4 deliverables, each worth 25 points. First, build a technical debt inventory for your current project. Cover all 5 categories with at least 10 items each. Second, create a debt cost model for your top 5 debt items. Include fixed cost, carry cost, and opportunity cost. Third, build a 12-month debt reduction roadmap. Include quarterly milestones and capacity allocation. Fourth, write a debt investment proposal for your biggest debt item. Structure it as a business case an executive would approve. Use real data from your projects. The goal is practical, actionable debt management, not theoretical perfection. 3 key takeaways from today. Technical debt is a business problem, not just a technical problem. Frame it in terms executives understand: speed, reliability, and cost. Debt management requires dedicated capacity. Allocate 15 to 20% of every sprint to debt reduction. Don't wait for when there's time. The best debt is the debt you don't create. Prevention through code review, architecture review, and automated quality gates is cheaper than remediation. Go make your code base a little better today than it was yesterday.